certainly the sense that I got in the room today was how important and timely this report is, that so many people are dealing with mental health issues, with addiction issues, and ending up in remand custody, in pre-trial detention, without ever being convicted of an offence. So really we're asking the question why. And I think not only did we explore some of the issues today, we also talked about some of the solutions. You know, we need to reduce the remand population. That would have an amazing impact on prison overcrowding overall. So we need to do that as a matter of urgency. We need to look at why the law is being misapplied in some cases. We need to look at why certain marginalised groups are being sent to prison on remand and address those. Because even the Chief Inspector of Prisons has called, Clover Hill a social safety net. We shouldn't be closing some institutions to then send people to prison, and actually put in place facilities and supports in the community to stop people ending up in prison in the first place.
So this report is really, really important to the work of the Office of the Inspector of Prisons and to the prison system across Ireland. 20% of people are being held on remand in the prison system currently, and looking at remand means we need to reduce our remand population, to reduce overcrowding in our prison system, and it's one approach to do this. So from the Office of the Inspector's perspective, it's really important to do this because we've highlighted in our inspection reports that the prison is currently operating as a social safety net. There are approaches that can be used, and the recommendations that have been made in this report can be used in order to divert people with mental health issues away from the prison system and to the appropriate therapeutic settings.
I greatly welcome the publication of this report because it's quite a pioneering document. It provides an empirical investigation into how our bail and remand system are working. And it has a number of quite striking conclusions, a number of quite striking findings. One being that about 3/4 of people who are remanded in custody pending trial are not eventually sentenced to imprisonment. Now that raises questions as to why they have been remanded in the first place. Another major conclusion, perhaps the biggest one, is that the prison system is being used as a kind of a substitute for other services that should be available. And so many of the people who end up in prison on remand are people who are homeless, people who are suffering from mental illness, people who are suffering from addiction, and these are people for whom better and more appropriate facilities should be available rather than warehousing them in prison. And of course all of this is against a background where we have a shocking level of overcrowding in our system. Our prison system is currently operating at 125% capacity. That means that there are more than 1,000 prisoners in custody than we have actual capacity for, or that we have beds for. And therefore that's another reason why both the bail system and indeed the sentencing system needs to be revised and needs to be reviewed to solve these problems.
I think that there was real consensus in the room today that something needs to change, something's got to give, because the system at the moment is under so much strain. And the remand system is performing a safety valve for all of the other issues, the social issues that are not being addressed in health, in education, in housing. And you have people who are ending up in prison simply because there's nowhere else for them to go. And I think in the room today, from the speakers and from the audience, you could really see that appetite for change, and you could really see the frustration with the system as it's working today, both legally and in terms of the social outcomes.